So hopefully either you received your Mackin order or you should be receiving your Mackin order very soon. I'm going to go through a few steps with you of things that you need to do in your Mackin account so that we can pay your bill. Please keep in mind that we are not expecting any packing slips. We don't want any paper from you. All the receiving that you're going to do is going to be within the Mackin site. So what I did is I went ahead and I logged in as Villa Del Rey. They just recently received their books, and so we're going to walk through the process as though we're the librarian there, and then I'll go through everything step by step. So the first thing you need to do is you're going to receive your books. So you'll have boxes of books. With Mackin, you should receive 2 shipments. The first shipment will be your largest shipment, and then you will receive your second one, which should be significantly smaller. You want to open the boxes, make sure the books look okay, see if there are any damage, because you will be marking any damages, whether, the book is ripped up or, messed up or possibly, bound upside down or something like that. You will mark those within the system, and Mackin will send you a new book to replace that. So keep that in mind. You want all the books to look pretty good. So get your books out and unbox everything. Make sure everything looks great. If you are an EBR employee, we will be scanning those books in because we have it set up with our Follett system. If you're a non-public, whether your system works with ours will depend on if you'll be able to scan them. If it doesn't let you scan, you can do a batch upload at one time. So let's go ahead and get started. We're logged in as the librarian at Villa Del Rey. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the OMS button up here at the top right. And that's going to give me the screen where hopefully you remember where you could see your money. And I could see that her district allocation is actually 0. So that means that her order is in the process of being completed. This should be 0. If you see a number there, then either we did not submit your order to Mackin, or there might be a problem where you did not have enough books and the order was kind of put on hold because there was nothing left to fill that remaining money. So I can see that she's great. She's good to go. I want to first, before I start doing any kind of receiving, I want to check the order and just kind of see the status. And you can actually do this before you ever receive any books. You can do this at any time during the order process. So I'm going to go to My Mackin up here at the top right. I'm going to go to My Orders, which is the third button, and then I'm going to go to Order History. And what's going to pull up in a second is going to be what Villa Del Rey's current order is. And you can go backtrack, you can see what's been closed, what's been open, but we're only worried about what's happening right now. So I can see here, this is her order. It's actually still open, which means she will receive another box of books later. She received Mackin received her order on December 1st. I can view and kind of see where they are in the status of this order. So if I were to click here, I can see that what's been shipped to date, what her dollar amount is. So you're seeing that she has about $800 more that they need to find books for. They're actually going to have processing and binder. All these numbers are actually going to be higher than what she actually is going to get. But just to know, you can kind of see what's been shipped, where the order is in the process. You can actually see what's been shipped. This is all, you can do this before you ever receive your books. Okay, so let's go back and let's see what other things we can see on this screen. The next thing that we can see is the shipping. So we can see that it was shipped on January 3rd. Now, if you don't know where your books are, they're lost in the school, you have no idea, instead of calling library services, you can click on the tracking number, which our link right here, which will bring you to the tracking, and it'll tell you exactly where they were left and who received those. Sometimes there might be a little bit of an error, but and you may not get this information, but you can always copy the tracking information here and then re-put it into the UPS screen and then get your information. So I can see that there are 4 boxes that were shipped, and I could see that they were delivered on January 9th. So if you need that information, your books are lost, you can easily get it right here on the screen. Okay, the next piece of information is your invoice. There is a copy of your invoice if you want to click and open it. I'm not going to do that because I don't really need it, but I am going to copy this number. So I just highlighted it and right clicked, and I'm going to click on copy. And so I do, because I will need the invoice number when I'm doing the receiving later in the next screen. Okay. Another important piece of information here are the Marc records, and your Marc records are actually right here. Now, just so you'll know, everyone should, if your email is attached to the Mackin account, you will receive an email with four things in that email. The first thing will be a barcode printout. The next thing will be a file. It's called FIL. You don't even want to worry about that. You don't need it. Then you'll have your Marc 21 file. That's your Marc records. That's what you'll need to download to put into Destiny, or if you're a non-public, whatever system that you are using. And then the last one, the last file will be shipment details. So just more information if you want to look and see, you know, the barcode numbers on each book, whatever, you're going to have tons and tons of information to look at. Now, you can get the Marc records straight out of your email if you choose, and put those in Destiny, or you can get them from this screen. I'm going to go ahead and get them from this screen. So I'm going to click on download Marc records, and what's going to happen is at the bottom of the screen, you're going to have, let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger, you're going to have a file that comes up, and you can see where it says Marc here. When I click on it, now again, this is an EBR computer, yours may be very different, but when I click on that downloaded link at the bottom, it's going to open it up and give me the barcode printout, which was in your email, that FIL file, which we do not need, and the Marc 21 file. Okay, now if you try to download the file that opens here and put it in Destiny, it will not work. This is a zipped file. So by me clicking on it, it unzipped it, and then I can see my actual Marc 21 file here. If you try to upload a zip file, you will get an error in Destiny, okay, because it has no idea what that is. So make sure when you click here, you open that it's downloaded to be able to see the actual file that you need, which is called Marc 21. Now, what I would do here is I would most likely right click. I could save this. I could put it on my desktop, wherever you want to put it to where you can find it, because you will need it to upload into Destiny. Okay, so let's quickly look at Destiny. Okay, so I'm already logged in as Villa Del Rey in Destiny, and what I'm going to do now that I have my Marc records is I'm going to go to import titles. And this file right here where it says choose file, that's where I'm going to find that Marc 21 file. Okay, but before you do that and you upload, it's really important that you assign copy information. And again, this is probably just for EBR people. So if you are non-public, your system may be totally different than ours. So keep that in mind. It says, if missing, assign the following information to each copy. If I go ahead and import as is, it's going to make every book be a regular book. And we know that if you bought ebooks, we don't want ebooks to be listed as regular in Destiny. So I'm going to select the update. And what I'm going to do is my circulation type, I'm going to not say make everything regular. I'm going to say based on the call number, because the books that come in from Mackin, if they are ebooks, will already have the D. And again, this is EBR, okay? It'll already have the D because of your cataloging specs. And then we know, I can click on that update and see we want Ds to be listed as non-circulating ebook. So this should already be set for you in the system. And then if you go based on call number, it'll make everything else regular, okay, except for that D. So I'm going to say okay here. And as you can see, it changed it on the screen for assigned copy information. Then I'm going to choose my file. I'll find my file here. Now, of course, I didn't save it. And then I can import those. If you're unsure and you're a little nervous, you can always do a preview that when you go to Job Manager, the preview will be there for you. You can look to see if that's exactly what you want before you actually import. But please keep in mind, a preview is not putting the stuff in there. It's just letting you look at it. So you will have to continue on and do an import if you are previewing it and it looks okay. All right, so this is the mark record part. That's the first thing you need to, or second thing, however, whatever order you want to do, but this needs to be done, mark records. Okay, now let's get back to Mackin. And I copied this invoice number for a reason because I also now need to do receiving. So remember, I have copied this. I'm going to, whenever you're on a screen and this is a great example, you don't see my options here, always click on OMS and it's going to almost reset it into your system. So I clicked on OMS and now I'm back. When I go to options, I now see receiving. And it's asking me for that invoice number, and that's the invoice number that I just copied. Now again, it would be on the documentation that you had in your email. It would be probably most likely on the box and the sheets of paper that are in the box. Regardless, you're going to have that invoice number. So I went ahead and selected go, and you can see it's pulled up her her books because it says there's 136 books that we need to check in. Okay, now if I go back to see what books she has, and again, I don't have her actual list with me, but if I were to have my scanner, all she has to do here is scan by barcode. So now remember, this is your Mackin barcode. It's not the ISBN barcode. We're doing the Mackin barcode. So I would just scan each book from that. Now, these two numbers should be the same. Okay, if not, let me know and we can investigate and see what the problem is. Whenever you're done, and I clicked on done flagged item, I'm going to copy one of these barcodes, okay? You'll see that it says these are all the things missing. So I don't want to send an email or submit anything because I haven't started, but if there's a book that you're missing, and you've checked the bar and double check, and you also want to kind of go slow as you do the barcodes, because as you're scanning barcodes, the faster that you're going, it'll kind of cut you off. So go slow with scanning the barcodes, and if there's anything left here, then these are the things that you're missing. Or you can, of course, let's go ahead and scan this one. Now I don't have a scanner attached, I just copy that in. But you can see here's the book that I just checked in for her. So I have one that's been received so far. I need to do all of these books. I can change the condition here to poor or something else so that like it needs to be replaced, and that way Mackin will know. But this book apparently hopefully is fine, so I went ahead and did that. You would go barcode by barcode until you finished everything. And again, if you are non-public and your barcodes don't work, you can always do a batch receive and do all of them at the same time. I would encourage EBR people not to do that because we want to make sure you have every book. Trust me, you can make mistakes. So be careful on this screen. Again, when you're done, you would click on the done. If there's a problem, you can actually type in the problem here, and then you can send the email straight to Mackin. Whether you need a replacement of this particular book or whatever you need, that will send them that information so they'll know that there was a problem with your book order. So you need to make sure that you do receiving, and that is done within Mackin. And then you also need to make sure you would do your mark records, get the mark records out and put the mark records within Destiny, or if you're non-public, whatever you're using. Now, I do would like to say that if you are EBR, I expect for receiving and mark records to be done within 2-3 weeks at the latest. You don't have to put the books on the shelf, but at least get the Mackin work done so that we can pay your bill. And hopefully this is clear and everybody can understand exactly what to do. Two things: receiving mark records. And if you have any questions, you can email us at Library Services and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks.